Good evening! Welcome to the first round of Season 2 of the Velocity Online Racing iRacing IndyCar Sprint Series, presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning. That's a mouthful, but here we are finally. After a couple weeks off, we are here for a second season. I am Julien Altena, and I've traded the cockpit for the mic to bring you coverage of the first round of this 5-round season. More on that in just a moment, but to kick off right away, with some changes for this season, we've moved up the start time to 9 p.m., which is 30 minutes earlier. There's a one-shot qualifier. Push to pass has been updated by the sim, so a total of 200 seconds, and you must make a mandatory pit stop, but no compounds requirements there. The qualifying one lap, as I mentioned, the race today will be 22 laps or 30 minutes. Standing starts remain, and of course, as usual, one additional tire set is offered to all the drivers should they need it. But here we are at Zandvoort to kick off a brand new season. I'm very excited for this. It's my first venture into broadcasting in quite some time. It's been about 3 years, I would say, since I've done an actual race. So I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully you guys are as well. And during the course of today's race and also the next couple rounds, we'll bring you up to speed with all the new drivers to the league. But qualifying underway. And as I mentioned, one-shot qualifying, so that means drivers get one single lap to get it right or wrong to get their starting positions for the race. So let's bring up the timing ticker. Of course, no times on it yet, but they will come in pretty quickly. As we see Alaric van der Bos already making a mistake there on his first attempt. So he will have to go out again. So we watch Stijn van der Velde, who is a very good driver here around Zandvoort. Won a couple races in Super Formula, and I am being held hostage. He asked me to say this. But seriously, Stijn is a very good driver here around Zandvoort. He knows his way around the place pretty well. So I'm excited to see what he can do here tonight. Maybe a pole position, maybe a win, as he represents the Altena Autosport team. And we'll bring you up to speed on the team names and drivers and all that stuff shortly. So yeah, like I mentioned, it's been a while since I've done broadcasting, so please do bear with me as I try to get used to broadcasting again. I have a lot of controls in front of me, and this is way harder than I remember it being. So just putting it out there that this is not an easy job by any means, especially when you're the driver and you're trying to get behind the mic. But Tijn van der Velde across the line goes to third quick, half a second behind Adam State, who is part of the WSR eSports butt kicker team, who are also racing in the IndyCar Pro Series. And let's see if we can get some live images of drivers on the track. And Nodebi Emel, I hope I pronounced it right, in the number 40 car on his first and only lap, 60 seconds to go in the session, as we have 10 drivers now with a lap time. Liam O'Sullivan about to get one in as well, who has taken over the league coordinator duties from me this season, so I could be behind the mic. Of course, for those who may not know, David Cross did the last season, but unavailable due to other commitments in real life, so he is not able to get any broadcasts in, unfortunately. So that means that I had to swap the cockpit for the mic. But it does seem that Adam State is on the provisional pole. I don't want to quite say that he is on pole yet, because things might change in the last 16 seconds or so, but it's looking pretty good for him. As Alaric van der Bos on his last attempt, he might not even be able to get this one in, because the timer is about to run out, and there it happens. So Alaric not able to get in a lap time, unfortunately, so he will start from the rear of the field. But that's not the end of the world. So we're about to get going for the first round of Season 2 in the VOR iRacing IndyCar Sprint Series. Let's take a very quick look at your starting grid. It's Adam State and Nathan Moore on the front row for WSR eSports butt kicker. Then it's Jorge Martinez and Tijn van der Velde on the second row. Row 3 is Patrick Zilvassi and Coveney. We got Emo, Cotham, Stedman, Boney on row 5. And then the final 3 drivers on the grid are Mike Wayne Robertson, Liam O'Sullivan, and Alaric Vandenbos. So that is your starting grid for today's race. 22 laps on the menu today as we are waiting for the final drivers to grid and get this one going. Of course, any questions in chat, feel free to ask. We'll do our best to answer them during the race, provided we're not focused on the racing itself, of course. But 200 seconds of push to pass. It might be a bit overkill for a 22 lap race, but who knows, it could come in a pretty strategic manner anyway. So I believe we're just waiting on one more car to grid, and then we'll bring this race into existence. So standing starts, 200 seconds of push to pass, and 12 hungry drivers for the win. Lights are coming on, and we are underway at Zandvoort, and it's a pretty even start between the two WSR eSports drivers as we go into turn 1 for the first time today. Two teammates side by side, as the field is very careful and very respectful so far, at least. Hopefully I didn't jinx the field, but here we go through the Hugenholzbocht, and the field sorting themselves out already as we see Dave Stedman off slightly. But the field rolls up the hill as we see one car loose. That might have been Emil here. As we go up to Schijfvlak now, or down to Schijfvlak I should say. Very fast right hand corner. And everybody's still clean and green. So a few moments, but nothing too spectacular as we see some side-by-side action in the background. And I take that back. There is a part of a front wing missing for one of the cars. Through the stadium section for the first time. Not quite as many orange flares as we are used to in Zandvoort, but all the fans are in attendance here to watch this sprint of Zandvoort as we come to the conclusion of lap number 1. And it is still WSR eSports butt kicker out in front with a 1-2 for Moore and State. So Moore got the lead from State at the start as we are on board with Tijn van der Velde here, chasing down those two front runners. Tijn was hopeful that he could win this race. Of course, Tijn very experienced and very quick around this place. But so are the top 2 ahead of him, of course. So we'll see. Ooh, almost hit one of those guys up the rear. Had to check up a little bit in the pink car, but very much on the attack. We do not have push-to-pass information available on the overlay, at least, as Tijn has a little look on the inside of Schijfvlak right there, but decides against it. But very close between the top 3 at the moment. And Jorge Martinez, who used to race in the VOR IndyCar Euro Series, very close behind as well. Tijn having another look. Side by side now. Onto the back straight. Very difficult corner this, especially with the tailwind, but everybody keeps it under control. And now Jorge Martinez is going to have a look at Tijn as well. Will it be more than a look? It will not be. He will slot in behind and wait just a little bit longer to try and get a move done. But the field's still very close together, as we are already coming towards the end of lap 2. As Dave Stedman at the start, we saw him lose some momentum there in turn 3. He is down in last position. Alaric Vandenbos didn't get a time in up to P9. Pretty decent start for him, as we see no major action at the moment. Following Adam State here, of course, as I mentioned, still a 1-2 for WSR eSports butt kicker. As you can see right here, the race story for Adam State. Currently second, started first from the pole. And if we go to his teammate, Nathan Moore, you can see, started second, up to first. So good start by those two boys. Tijn van der Velde still in third, under pressure from Jorge Marquinez. And like I mentioned, Jorge raced in the VOR IndyCar Euro Series a couple years ago in 2021, I believe it was. And scored a championship there along a number of good results. As the two teammates battling for the race lead down into turn 1. It's Adam State on the inside, and he will retake the lead from his teammate, Nathan Moore. Pretty simple move down the front straight, and I would assume that push to pass was used there. As he pulls it off, and into the lead he goes. Going towards last place, Dave Stedman here, trying to make a move on Mike Wayne Robinson. Mike Wayne is a new driver to this series, so welcome to him, along with a number of others, of course, including Cottam, Emmel, Coveney, Marquinez himself, actually, making his first start in the Sprint Series. And the two boys of WSR eSports butt kicker, all new to the series, so welcome to all of you. Of course, if you're interested in running the series, sign-ups are still open. The next race is at the Indy Road Course, and you can race with us for free, no entry fee, open setups. So if you're interested, feel free to join the Discord and sign up. But back towards the front now. Tijn van der Velde has lost a position. Let's see if we can get a replay from that in just a second. New fastest lap for Adam State, by the way, 1:19.091 is the new benchmark. Going to the pass for P3, going into the Hugenholzbocht. Is that time making a little wiggle? Yes, it is. Loses some speed off the corner, and Jorge Marquinez pounces right there, pulls it off. This was on lap 4 of the race. Back to lap 5 on live pictures. We'll follow the most exciting battle on the track. And at the moment, the top 5 settling into a rhythm. 17 laps to go. Of course, there is the mandatory pit stop. And you do need to take at least 1 click of fuel, which is about 1.9 liters, I do believe. So it's not possible to fuel safe. It's not allowed by the rules. So all these drivers will make a pit stop. But it's just a matter of what tire compound they go to and how long they can stretch the fuel. Of course, the drivers also have the ability to underfuel the car, to maybe go quick at the first stint and then go longer on the second stint, or of course do the complete opposite and go long on the beginning. As Tijn van der Velde under pressure a little bit, and we also see a move in the background. That's the wrong driver. As Cotton pits. And of course I was not able to select the driver. So let's go back here. Liam O'Sullivan on the final corner. Gets a big run on the push to pass. Gets a big run into turn 1. And it doesn't really get contested at all by Emmel. So move Liam up to P7. Didn't get a time in qualifying. Now up to P7. And slowly pulling away from the Ferrari liveried car. Tijn van der Velde really starting to struggle on his alternates now. I wonder if his tire management just isn't up to par at the moment, which causes him to drop back. So he'll be looking to make it to at least halfway to try and get a second stint in. Or he may also decide to just go to the blacks and have it the easy way without much degradation on those tires. Track temperature was 36 degrees centigrade at the start of the race, or at the start of qualifying I should say. So that's not too hot, but I'm sure the red tires do not have it easy here around these high banks and high speed corners of Zandvoort. Of course in the Dutch dunes. So Jorge Marquinez now chasing down the two WSR eSports butt kicker drivers. Let's see what his inputs are. So down to first gear for this corner. I think he'll stay in second for this one. Actually goes down to first to get a bit more peak power off the corner as Tijn van der Velde under pressure and is gonna have a look. It's Coveney. Archie Coveney. I have to get used to the new names, of course, but here he has a look again into the final corner. Not quite able to do anything, but he will have a big run here onto the front straight. Tijn van der Velde on the push to pass. Adam Coveney deciding not to use it, interestingly enough. So Tijn van der Velde able to pull away a little bit on the straight. Into the Hugenholtz again, and you see Tijn's rear end just really unstable in that corner. We saw it 2 or 3 laps ago as well when he lost that position to Marquinez. Very easy for Tijn to lose some time there and maybe lose a position as well. So he needs to manage that slip angle of the tire coming off the corner when you transition from the banking to the flat part of the track. As we have a beautiful nose cam. I wonder who designed this camera. Might be a cool guy that also happens to commentate the race. And Tijn again with a huge amount of wheel spin. He needs to calm his rear end down a little bit to try and get any sort of traction off the corners. Onto the front straight again. Let's see if Archie Coveney can pull anything off this time around. And I don't think it's close enough, so he'll have to sit behind again. Wait a little bit longer. Back to the front. State and Moore still controlling the pace at the moment. And I wonder if State and Moore are just playing it smart here. State might not be full push yet to try and give draft to his teammate. Of course, the draft is the slipstream for the European fans under us. I've been Americanized myself, so I use the term draft pretty commonly these days. But the slipstream is what it basically is. And if you don't know what slipstream is, it's basically you're running behind the leading car who punches a bigger hole in the air than you do behind. And with the less air resistance, you're able to pull a bigger top speed. Which, of course, means that you can overtake other cars. As Patrick Silvassi, 5 seconds off the lead. He's got Liam O'Sullivan 3.4 seconds behind him. We'll watch that battle over the next 13 laps. So we're closing in on halfway through the race. And I wonder if we'll start seeing some pit stops happen in just a brief moment. Seems like Alexander Boney has had an issue, and you heard it just briefly in the background. Alexander Boney, I believe, has spun the car on the exit of the Hugenholtz bocht, and there he is. So Mike Wynne Robinson up to P11. So at the moment, it seems that we've got 3 groups of drivers, really. I guess really 4 groups of drivers. As we've got the 2 teammates out in front, Adam State and Nathan Moore. Then we got Jorge Marquinez, Tijn van der Velde and Archie Coveney in the second group from 3rd to 5th. Then we have Patrick Silvassi and Liam O'Sullivan together, along with Imo. And then we got Alaric van den Bos in no man's land. And then we got, of course, Dave Stetman, sorry. Alex Boney and Mike Wynne Robinson in that 3rd group. 4th group. Jorge Marquinez on the push to pass. He's got 153 seconds left of use of the overtake button and decides to disengage it halfway down the straight. to preserve some of it. Of course, you get 200 total seconds to use in the race. You can use it however you like. You just cannot use it under braking or off throttle. So you could, in theory, spam it every single straight and be able to use it the whole race, but a few drivers choosing not to do so. Save it for a little bit later. Maybe it can come in useful if you save it. I just don't think the straights are really long enough to really make an impact, but that's just me. I'm the commentator now, so I don't know what I'm saying. We have one car pulling off. That was Nathan Moore. In the meantime, we're going to focus on this battle between Liam O'Sullivan. Actually, never mind, because Liam also pits. And a number of other drivers do come into the pits. So, first round of pit stops right at the halfway mark. Got Nathan Moore, Tijn van der Velde, Patrick Silvassi and Liam O'Sullivan in the pits. Adam State decides to stay out an extra lap, along with Jorge Marquinez. And Marquinez is one of those drivers who I'm pretty sure has tried his best to save his stuff as best he could, and he is now picking up the fruits from that, as he is able to stay right with Adam State and might be able to overcut Nathan Moore. Of course, the overcut can be quite useful here. No tire blankets in IndyCar, so when you exit the pits, it's on stone cold tires, and if you're able to do an extra lap on hotter tires, regardless of the compound, you're more likely than not going to come out ahead. So let's see if that is the case here today. As Archie Coveney down the inside on Tijn van der Velde into the Audi corner, the Audi S-bocht. Still side by side going down the back straight now. Let's see if Tijn is going to run him out of room, and he does not. Archie Coveney around the outside, pulls off the pass, and he's going to defend the inside now, and I think it's a done move. Great move by Archie right there. Played the long game as Tijn van der Velde spins. Bit of a clumsy mistake, hits the curb on the cold tires, and he pogo sticks it around. Gonna lose a position to Patrick Silvassi and also Liam O'Sullivan, who are indirect teammates, and actually, as I say that, they are direct teammates. So let's see what they can do here on the straight. I think Tijn is gonna be a bit frustrated, gonna want to get back by him, and indeed he does, goes back to the inside, and on the push to pass pulls by him. Adam State stays out another lap. Jorge Marquinez did come into the pits, and he's actually a long ways behind Nathan Moore. So either he overheated the tires or just had an off on his in-lap or had a slow stop. Could be either of those things, to be honest. But not an ideal pit cycle for him. As Mike Wynne Robinson is in the pits. A few moments ago, Oliver Cottam got by Dave Stedman for P10, and I believe Dave Stedman was in the pits. So Mike Wynne Robinson from the primaries to the alternates. So he is one of the very few who does the blacks to the reds. Interestingly enough, you are allowed to use the same compound twice, but you're also allowed to use two different compounds, which is new for this season. So Adam State's still out in the lead. We got Nodibe Emel in second. Both of those two are yet to pit. And it seems like Adam State is able to match Nathan Moore's pace on fresh tires. So this could give State a massive advantage at the end of the race. And actually he's pulling away in the middle section of the lap. Just slightly. So let's see what he does. Comes into the pits on lap 14 of 22 as Dave Stedman, almost a lap down, comes into the pits as well. Let's see if he changes compounds from the reds to the blacks or just goes back to the reds. I think he'll take the reds, to be honest, but we'll not know until he takes them on, and it is indeed another set of the red compound tires. So that hands the lead over to Nodibe Emel. And there's the two teammates side by side. He will rejoin just behind his teammate Nathan Moore. Adam State does, but we'll have about 4 lap fresher tires in the process. So let's see how this battle develops towards the end of the race. Only 8 laps to go, including this lap 15. Tijn van der Velde still slowly creeping in on Patrick Silvassi. Of course, made that mistake on the out lap. Not the day he wants today. Of course, we mentioned he was hopeful that he could challenge for the win. Doesn't seem like that is in the picture today, but a top 5 is still possible if he gets on with it. Because remember, Emil still has to pit, so it is a very realistic shot to finish in the top 5 still. As we follow Nodibe Emil on lap 15, will he pit? No, he stays out again. Trying to make the most use of those primary tires. And it could also be a very real possibility that he is going to splash and go without taking tires. It's an allowed strategy as well. Maybe not the most popular, but perhaps he could pull it off. Back to the battle for P4 at the moment, as these guys have gained a few positions from pit cycles. Oh no! What's happened to Adam State and Jorge Marquinez? They've just disappeared, and that explains why Patrick Silvassi and Tijn van der Velde gained 2 spots. We just missed that. Let's go back at this. Lap 5th. Oh, Adam State with a big wiggle on corner exit and Jorge Marquinez nowhere to go. And he goes for a flip. So yeah, day done for Jorge Marquinez. As well as Adam State. 2 of the front runners today. So a DNF for both of those guys. As both on the pits, in the pits taking repairs. As we go to the battle for P4 at this stage in the race now. Patrick Silvassi, Tijn van der Velde. Still the closest battle on the track. 0.7 of a second between the two. And I think history is repeating itself. Patrick Silvassi pulling away by better tire management. So Nodibe Emel still out in the lead. He's got Nathan Moore 6 seconds behind him. I wonder what his play is going to be. This is going to be a very interesting call. Either he's going to splash and go like I mentioned, or he's going to pit this lap for reds to go the distance. I could see either happening. I guess we'll find out in about, well, either 10 seconds or a lap or 2. So here he goes. Oh, I thought he was pitting. Thought he signaled a pit in. Just runs the tightest line possible to minimize the distance. So Liam O'Sullivan on the comeback drive in P6. Started from P12. Not too bad of a first race for Liam. considering he didn't set a lap time. And during all the chaos and pit cycles, Alaric van der Bos into P7. Just running his own race, doing well at it in the number 71 Altena Autosport Netherlands team. There he is, in the orange McLaren-inspired VOR livery, and actually still runs the old livery. We have a new logo now, so we should probably update that for Alaric for the next race. But still a pretty cool looking paint scheme. It's based on the 2023 era McLaren paint, just with some different colors on it. Tijn van der Velde right on Patrick Silvassi's butt into the Arie Luijendijk bocht, leading on to the main straight. Tijn van der Velde, highest position in the race, third. Lowest in 8th. Let's see, does he go for it on the inside? Goes late on the brakes, has a very good look at it, but not able to brake later than Patrick. And Patrick holds it around the outside and holds on to P4 for the time being. But Tijn van der Velde, as we mentioned, very good around Zandvoort. Oh, that was close. We got a perfect angle from that. That was almost a big disaster in the Hugenholtsbocht. But up the hill, down to Schijfvlak, high speed, high commitment corner. You have to stay very close to him, and Tijn van der Velde does exactly that. Almost too close. Let's see if he pulls off a similar move to what happened to him earlier, as the two go side by side through the Audi S-bocht onto the back straight. Tijn on the outside in the marbles, not able to get the traction down. Has to slot in behind. Patrick gonna leave the door open for Tijn van der Velde, but doesn't go for it. Probably wisely enough, because Patrick probably would have shut the door anyway on corner exit. These two race hard but fair all the time, so they know what to do and what not to do. So the last 4 laps, as Tijn has another look at Patrick. 17.8, 74, 17.7, 18.5. So let's compare that to Patrick Silvassi here. Of course, they're running very close together, so there's not going to be too much spread in lap time. But overall, Patrick Silvassi, up until the last lap, slightly quicker. So that's definitely a sign of his tires going off at this stage in the race. Of course, 3 laps to go. It is a sprint race. Oh, as Patrick Silvassi does get a massive slide. I think he touched the grass a little bit, right as I was looking at the timing screen. But Tijn van der Velde, through a mistake of Patrick Silvassi, up into P4. Don't think he's going to have enough time to chase down P3, Archie Coveney, but he can always try. And it still hurts to see Adam State and Jorge Marquinez out of the race. 2 drivers more than capable of winning today's race. Both out after a mistake by by Adam State, and Jorge Marquinez had nowhere to go in the final corner. So Nathan Moore out in the lead. There he is. 4.8 seconds over Archie Coveney, as Tijn van der Velde has had an issue. Oh! 3 cars involved at least on the exit of the Tarzanbocht. And that is day done for Tijn van der Velde. I wonder if Patrick Silvassi... Yeah, Patrick is destroyed. Should have known that. No rear ring on the car. He's going to try to finish the race. But Alaric van der Bos up into the top 5 now. And Odibe Emel also completely destroyed. So let's take a look back at this incident, if we can, before the race ends. And oh yeah, Tijn van der Velde loses it, and Odibe Emel comes out of the pits and just gets collected in that mess. So no way that Odibe could have done anything different here. Here he is, just minding his own business. Tijn loses the rear end, collects Patrick, and then yeah, that's just the most unlucky time to pit. Imagine if he pitted a lap earlier or later. There would have been no problem for him. And instead, it's just day done for the three of them. So white flag is out for Nathan Moore. In what has been a highly attrition-filled race, especially in the late going. It's going to result in a win, provided he pulls it off, so knock on wood for him. 4W is our eSports butt kicker. Nathan Moore and Adam State both in the IndyCar Butt Kicker Pro Series. So more than fitting that a butt kicker sponsored car shows what they're capable of doing here in the Sprint Series as well. Open setups, of course, so I'm sure they've got the good hyperdocs to bring to this track even though it's not run regularly in the IndyCar. But in all of that, Liam O'Sullivan, completely quiet, ran to P3 on the podium, started P12. And as I mentioned, Alaric van den Bos also up to P4. So a great day for those two drivers. Not officially on the same team, but they're under the same banner. As out of the final corner comes Nathan Moore to win the first round of Season 2 in the VOR iRacing IndyCar Sprint Series, presented by IFS Personal Financial Planning. Great win by Nathan. Archie Coveney comes across the line to finish in second place. Great result for Archie, new to the league, and immediately gets on the podium. So great result by him. And Liam O'Sullivan, of course, as I mentioned, on the podium. Started P12. Pretty quiet run. And pulls it off with the podium. Alaric van den Bos and Patrick Silvassi still brings it home in P5. With a heavily damaged car. But he does make it. Not the result he had hoped for, but still at P5 is not too bad considering the circumstances. And of course we got the final finishers. Oliver Cottam as well across the line. The final car on the lead lap. Mike Wynne Robinson finishes P7. Alexander Boney P8. Tijn van der Velde P9 and Dave Stedman P10. So there we go. That is the first race of the new season in the books. My oh my, what a race. That was action-packed and chaotic. So here are your race results. Nathan Moore wins 5 seconds clear of Archie Coveney. Liam O'Sullivan rounds off the podium. Alaric van den Bos and Patrick Silvassi with the damaged car complete the top 5. Then we have Oliver Cottam, Mike Wayne Robinson, Alexander Boney, the sponsor, IFS Personal Financial Planning. In P8, Tijn van der Velde listed as 10th but finishes 9th. And Dave Stedman, of course, the legit P10 finisher. Moving on to the next page of results. The final 3 drivers, Nodibe Emo, Adam State and Jorge Marquinez. The last 2 drivers of which collided with 7 laps to go. Adam State lost the rear end and Jorge nowhere to go. So there you have it. That's the first race of Season 2 in the books, which will bring me to a quick shout out, IFS Personal Financial Planning. Alexander Boney has been a great member of the series and has graciously supported the league as well for the last couple seasons. So IFS Personal Financial Planning specializes in transferring intergenerational wealth and minimizing the taxes incurred. Get in contact through email alex@ifspfp.com. Again, that is alex@ifspfp.com on email. So thanks again, brother. Much appreciated. Pretty decent result for him as well. Today, gets away with the top 10. So let's see if we have anybody that is willing to talk to us. And of course all my results are messed up on my timing screen, so I cannot remember from the top of my head who finishes in 1 and 2. Of course I know the winner, Nathan Moore. But let's bring in Liam O'Sullivan here in a quick second. Hello Liam, my friend.
Hello.
Hello. So let me start off right away with asking you a league perspective question. How was it organizing the series for a change?
I think, honestly, we had one of the best starts we've had. Like, I'm not referencing any other part of the race there, but the start and the whole first opening phase, first half of that race, I thought was honestly the most competitive. I jumped into that and thought, like, oh, I'll be easy top 5, and it's turned into, like, VCO or the most competitive road course race I've ever been in IndyCar, I'd say there. But yeah, that was I mean, to be honest, I frauded P3 a bit. I don't think I should be here because I did not have the pace at all. And I mean, Zandvoort's a bit of a bogey track for me. But yeah, it's unfortunate, especially time to get caught up in that incident at the end. I'm not exactly sure what's happened. I still need to go back and look at it. But yeah, it was a good race, especially first one for the series. And again, bigger grid than we had last season, bigger attendance, sign-ups, everything's gone up since last season, and it's only going to get bigger going to Indy.
Of course it is, and you mentioned Tyne. Tyne pogo sticked the curb on the outside and spun himself around while you guys were battling. So that's what happened to Tyne. But yeah, congratulations on your P3 finishes. You kind of mentioned the series already. It's growing. So for those who are watching and want to join the series, it's free to enter, open setups, sprint races, one-shot qualifying. If you want to get involved, join the Discord and sign up over there and we'll get you sorted. But Liam, great result again. Congratulations once again on P3. Any people you want to thank?
I want to thank the amazing team at a certain Julien Altena. I don't know whether you've ever heard of him. He runs a great shop over at Altena Autosport. Also want to thank IFS, Personal Financial Planning, Alex Bonney. Again, we wouldn't be putting on this series if it wasn't for him. Please get in contact with him through the Discord if you need any help financially. And yeah, again, moving to Indianapolis, hopefully have a bit more pace, but I think it's a great start to the season, despite what ended up into probably a bit more of a crash-filled race than it should have been with a few spins. But yeah, really good first race.
Definitely. Well, thanks a lot to you for picking up the job of organizing it, taking it over from me. It was a pleasure to broadcast it actually for a change. So yeah, we'll see you next week, Liam, for the Grand Prix of Indianapolis. I believe if I remember my own schedule, and yes it is. So see you at Indianapolis, Liam.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, Nathan, hello. Congratulations on a well-deserved win. You were battling with your teammate, or should I say battling with your teammate? You were mixing it up with your teammate. I don't know if you guys were changing the lead. Tell us about that, and also what you thought of the attrition at the end of it there.
Yeah, it was a good race for me. I think got a little bit lucky with the unfortunately, I think my teammate spun on the last corner after the pit cycle, so I got a bit lucky there. But yeah, it was good. Especially the first half of the race was good with Adam and Jorge. Just yeah, like we weren't there was no team orders or anything like that. We were racing, but I just felt at that early part of the race, not to battle too much, leave. I decided just to be patient, look after the tires, and wait until the end. And then, luckily, the end was all about just keeping it on the track, keeping it nice and smooth, and yeah, happy with the win.
Well, it was interesting for sure. I also have to ask, were you guys using the push to pass much? Because my timing screen was a bit bugged, so I couldn't see it. But were you guys using the button much, if any at all?
Yeah. I think by the end of the race, I'd used all of it. So like it just depended lap on lap. If the gap was close, I wasn't using it, and then if I felt like I was falling back too much, I was using it to try and keep up. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we were using it. Yeah.
All right. Well, any people you want to shout out or thank, or any family members you want to address here?
Just a shout out to you guys for putting on this great league, this great series. It's nice to race the IndyCar. Been getting into it a lot more recently, so it's nice to be able to race in a good competitive league, and yeah, just looking forward to next week, really.
Awesome. And I also one final question. I mentioned that you guys were in the Pro Series. First of all, is that true? Just to make sure that I didn't state something wrong.
I tried to qualify and fell short, unfortunately. So no,
right.
none of us are in the Pro Series. I think I came 41st overall, so just fell short. But gave it a good go anyway.
Well, I stand corrected then, but yeah, that's very unfortunate. I do remember you guys racing in the qualify series, so yeah. But hey, like you said, 41st is you just missed out. It wasn't bad by any means, so just goes to show that you belong in the car and you do well at it. So keep on grinding, and we'll see you next week at the Indy Road Course.
Thank you very much.
Always, see ya. So there we have it. That concludes coverage of tonight's race. We did not get a hold of our second place driver, unfortunately, but perhaps we'll get some comments off the air from him. So that's going to be wrapping it up for us here. We'll quickly run through the remainder of the schedule. Of course, the Indy Road Course, as I mentioned, is up next week on September 19th. Then we go to the Oval. Then we have an off week on the 3rd of October before we return to Brands Hatch, which is interesting. On October 10th, and to close out the season is the Red Bull Ring. Of course, Velocity Online Racing also offers the Iconic Series, which uses the Dallara DW12 legacy car, basically the grandfather of the IR18, exclusively on ovals. We had the Indy 200 about a week ago. The next race is next week at Nashville Super Speedway before we go to California, Pocono, Kentucky, Legacy, Phoenix, Michigan, and Las Vegas. And of course, the premier IndyCar Series, which kicks off its second half of the season in Nashville in about a week and a half's time. So if you're interested in joining any of those series, make sure to join the Discord and get yourself familiar with some information. We have plenty of posts there to inform everybody. So any questions will be answered over there. Of course, there's also an entry fee for the IR18 series. It's half off. Because we're halfway through the season, the DW12s are free to enter, and of course the Sprint Series also free. So once again, if you're interested in joining any of the series, feel free to join the Discord and sign up using the links and information provided over there. So want to thank one final time Alexander Boney from IFS Personal Financial Planning for sponsoring the series, both the Sprint and Iconic series for that matter. And thanks to all of you who tuned in to the broadcast. Congrats to the top 3 finishers and the rest of the drivers on a great event. And we will see you all next week at the Indy Road Course. Thanks for watching, everybody. See ya.